Hey, Wayne and John. I'm trying to get better at taking pictures of things in my life, and I know there's like the obvious things I should be taking pictures of, like taking pictures of family occasions and significant events or people that I care about and my time that I spend with them. But one of the things that I'm really trying to take more pictures of is when something grabs and captures my attention. And this thing happened on the way to church a couple of weeks ago. I was pulling up to a stoplight and I looked to the right and there was a bus stop there and I saw that there was a man with an owl on his shoulder. And so naturally I snapped this picture of the man because there was something about that that did something inside of me. And I don't know if this is weird or not, but here are the literal words that ran through my mind when I opened my phone up and looked at this picture. And naturally I had to show it to some other people because what is a picture if you don't share it with people? But when I was looking at this picture again, the words that ran through my mind were, he's doing it right. He's doing it right. I have no idea why those are the words that went through my mind. And like, if I logically analyze them, it totally doesn't make sense at all. But there is something in my soul that sees a man with an owl on his shoulder at a bus stop. And my heart wants to say, he's doing it right. I don't know what it is, and I'm not sure what right means in that context, but these are the words that my heart brought to the surface. And I know it's a weird thing to have an owl on your shoulder. So weird that I heard him yell at someone in another car because someone else was much more bold than me. I'm more cowardly, and so I took like a secretive picture of the guy. But he said to someone else who probably had their window rolled down to talk to him, he said, "No, it's AI." That's very funny to me. I got a giggle out of that. But it has me thinking about the ways that I romanticize other people's life experiences. When I think about what this guy's life looks like, there's something in my head just imagines him and this owl being buddies. Like he's sitting on his couch watching episodes of Gilmore Girls, like eating popcorn and feeding popcorn to owls, which I don't think they're supposed to eat. They're supposed to eat only animals. And I think seeing this guy with a great horned owl on his shoulder actually invites me to think about the ways that I romanticize other people's life experiences. Like weird things like when a guy has an owl on his shoulder are easy to romanticize in one way or another, but like the people that we see on TV and the people who have a certain amount of money or whatever it is, it's easy to romanticize a good version of their life that I don't have access to. And in an effort to counteract that kind of negative tendency of mine, I did a little bit of research on what it takes to take care of a great horned owl. And once I consider the logistics of this whole thing, it becomes a lot less cool to me. I mean, it's still cool that he has this owl on his shoulder. Like, obviously, that's this guy's whole thing. And learning what it takes to take care of this thing, of course it's got to be his whole thing. I would be proud to wear an owl on my shoulder, too, if I had to feed it 1 to 3 dead mice a day. You could also feed it 1 large rat. Or if you're feeling extra sadistic, you could feed it a few baby chicks or maybe a quail. And I also learned that when you feed these things, you have to be really careful not to overfeed them because they need to be a little bit hungry and dependent on you for the food. Otherwise, they just fly away and don't care about you. You also don't want it to be malnourished or starved either. So you gotta balance it just right, just the right amount of dead mice, rats, or baby chicks. And if we're talking about the dead animals that you have to feed it, obviously we have to consider the poops, which my friend ChatGPT describes as splattery. That is the predominant word that it used to describe what owl poops are like. They are messy, splattery things. Now you might be like, wait, I thought owls had hairy pellets. No, that's the thing that they regurgitate. So they regurgitate the bones and hair and stuff like 4 to 5 times a week. But daily you're going to have to deal with 1 to 3 splattery poops. So don't get me wrong. I do think having a great horned owl trained well enough to be on your shoulder at a bus stop on the side of the road is a pretty cool thing. But whatever mythos or lore that I have attached to this guy that makes me think that this guy is doing it right, or, oh, that must be the life to have an owl on your shoulder. Maybe this is just me that thinks this. I don't know if this is something that other people think, but it's obvious that comparison isn't making me any happier, and I'm not even sure it's something that this owl guy would want. Maybe Owl Guy is doing it just as right as I'm doing it, or other people are doing it. And even thinking further than that, I wonder if like when I'm standing on stage delivering a sermon, like, and that's the main thing that people know about me, that's the one snapshot they have about me, maybe they think that I'm doing it right. Or like people who watch our family YouTube channel where we're singing these funny, happy Spanish songs, I've had people say, wow, it looks like you guys enjoy this thing so much. And like, don't get me wrong, it's fun creating music and making fun projects with my family, but sometimes there are tears involved and arguments involved in the thing because we're trying to figure out how to balance our schedule and get the shots just right. But if the only snapshot someone has of us is doing cabeza, hombros, rodillas y pies in Spanish on green screen footage, well then they're probably gonna think, wow, look at that bilingual family. They're doing it right. Or when I'm having a moment because I'm like leading worship and the song is hitting just right and like my eyes are closed or whatever, maybe people are like, wow, he's experiencing some cool thing. Maybe he's doing it right. But then they don't see the times when I'm like, what do these words even mean? Can I sing these things in good conscience and feel like I'm still being authentic? Or they don't see the times when I have really big questions. I'm like, shoot, I don't have an answer for that one. So I don't know if other people have this feeling inside of them where they're like, he's doing it right, or that must be the life, or whatever idealistic, romanticized view of other people's lives there are. And I'm sure there is a right way to do some things, and there are better ways to live life, and there are worse ways to live life, and there are more destructive or more constructive or more beautiful or more ugly ways to do things. I'm not saying that there are no value judgments whatsoever. I think that there are good ways to do things and not do things. But I guess what the owl guy made me start thinking about is the reality that whatever snapshot I have of another person's life is probably not representative of what that person's life looks like, and thus any comparisons that I have of myself with other people that I hardly know are largely illegitimate. And maybe some of it just came down to the fact that having an owl on your shoulder is very interesting, and maybe I want to be interesting. But if my metric of being interesting is about other people thinking that I'm interesting, maybe it's more important that I think I'm interesting because I do things that are interesting to me. Maybe to some people I am that weird guy, but maybe that's not the most important thing. Maybe I should be asking, am I weird enough for me? And then maybe I can think about myself, hey, he's doing it right. Maybe, maybe not. But I know that both of you guys are weirdos and you're interesting to me. Looking forward to hearing from you. Love you guys.